Hey everybody, I'm Judy the YouTube Lawyer, back again with some more deep diving into Charlie Adelson's lawsuit against Berkshire Life Insurance Company. As many of you guys know, this is a quest for Charlie to get his disability insurance benefits. This lawsuit was filed in federal court back in 2020, and it's still ongoing. So I would like to show first this filing that gives a lot of background information in the case. And it kind of gives a nice summary of the case as well as Charlie's defenses. So let's take a look at that, or actually not his defenses because he's the plaintiff. So I see a lot of people are already out there. Thank you guys so much for your continued interest in this case. And let's take a look, and I will go ahead and start reading at least probably part of it. Okay, so it says plaintiff's opposition to defendant's motion to compel better amended responses and overrule plaintiff's amended objections to defendant's first request for production of documents. So anytime you have a lawsuit, the parties both have the ability to get information from each other, typically through written discovery like interrogatories and requests for production of documents. So the insurance company was saying that Charlie did not adequately respond and they want a lot more information. So here we go. It says that this lawsuit is limited to Berkshire's failure to pay residual disability benefits under the policies. Those benefits are payable if Dr. Adelson has lost at least 20% of his prior income due to sickness or injury. Dr. Adelson has suffered from chronic back pain since being diagnosed with spine injuries in 2016. The year before his injury, Dr. Adelson earned approximately $1,052,945 in taxable income as a traveling periodontist. Since his injury, his taxable income has diminished to approximately $137,018, wow, based on his most recent tax returns, due to his physical inability to work the same hours. Berkshire's request for production requests would compel Dr. Adelson to gather and produce every conceivable piece of information related to health, finances, employment, and his personal life from the past 9 years. Berkshire did not request this information when it had the obligation and opportunity to fully and fairly investigate this claim before denying benefits in 2017. Florida law prohibits Berkshire from fishing for new reasons to deny coverage, especially when it gave no indication that Dr. Adelson would be expected to produce such a voluminous quantity of information years after Berkshire denied coverage. Berkshire's wholesale requests for production requests seeking all documents are virtually limitless in scope. The carrier accuses Dr. Adelson of raising boilerplate objections, but its expansive requests are unduly burdensome and disproportional to the needs of the case. Dr. Adelson has produced the documents pertinent to his disability claim, including medical records, federal tax returns, and statements of income, along with and other materials. Despite potential relevance issues, Dr. Adelson authorized Berkshire to obtain additional records from every entity Dr. Adelson is affiliated with, except Apple Inc. Berkshire has issued over 30 non-party subpoenas. Dr. Adelson should not be forced to compile information that Berkshire already possesses or has the same ability as Dr. Adelson to obtain. Okay. Factual background. Dr. Adelson injured his lower back in January 2016. His chronic back pain forces him to limit the volume and scope of his periodontal practice. Prior to his disability, Dr. Adelson routinely traveled to 2 or 3 dental offices a day, working 6 or 7 days, and as much as 70 hours or more per week. Dr. Adelson's injury has restricted his schedule to approximately 30 hours per week. Dr. Adelson sought benefits under his disability policy, and Berkshire denied his claim on June 23, 2017, stating that the medical records on the file did not support restrictions or limitations, which would necessitate working in a reduced capacity. Berkshire's coverage determination was based on a medical records review by a consulting orthopedic physician. Berkshire also speculated about whether Dr. Adelson's employment might have been negatively impacted by publicity surrounding a criminal investigation, but its denial letter did not discuss Dr. Adelson's loss of earnings. Dr. Adelson filed this lawsuit on December 30th, 2020. He served his Rule 26 initial disclosures on March 23rd, 2021, enclosing 754 pages of documents, including federal tax returns, statements of income, lists of his treating physicians, pharmacies, and offices worked, medical records pertinent to his physical injury, and other information about his business activity during the relevant time period. On April 28, 2021, Berkshire served 58 requests for production of documents. Many of the requests are omnibus demands for documents that are irrelevant to the issues raised in the pleadings. For example, Berkshire requests all documents demonstrating alimony, spousal support, or child support payments made by or on behalf of plaintiff from 2012 to the present. Other requests are grossly disproportionate to the needs of this case. For instance, Berkshire demands all documents related to income from whatever source and in whatever form received by, earned, or owed to plaintiff for the period January 1st, 2012 to present. In addition to the requests, Berkshire served interrogatories and noticed intent to serve non-party subpoenas on more than 30 of Dr. Adelson's healthcare providers, pharmacies, insurers, banks, and other entities. Dr. Adelson initially objected to only a handful of subpoenas, which were unnecessarily intrusive. After the parties executed a confidentiality agreement, Dr. Adelson withdrew all objections accepting the Apple subpoena. Dr. Adelson served amended responses and objections to Berkshire's requests on July 21st, 2021. Dr. Adelson agreed to produce several categories of responsive documents, which included supplementing his tax records and statements of income for 2013 and from 2018 through the present. Dr. Adelson maintained objections, however, to requests calling for disproportionate and or irrelevant information. Okay, so there's the legal standard. It's limited to the sound discretion of the trial court. Okay, so they cite some case law there. Thank you guys for being out there. I think I need some water. Sorry, it's getting kind of hot in this room too. Okay, so it says, since serving his amended responses and objections to the requests, Dr. Adelson has produced additional tax returns and finances for his dental practice, additional individual tax returns and finances, the entire claim file from Standard Insurance Company versus Adelson, which was a previous lawsuit that another insurance company had filed against him as a declaratory judgment or seeking declaratory relief, saying that they were correct in denying that disability claim, and copies of all passport pages in his possession. These materials are responsive to requests 11, 13, 21, 24, 26, and 38. Berkshire previously obtained all documents related to Dr. Adelson's professional liability insurer in other litigation. Dr. Adelson agreed to produce documents related to job descriptions and his employment, the finances and sale of Adelson Institute for Aesthetics and Implant Dentistry, LLC, the hiring of staff for his practice at 10, miscellaneous information about Berkshire, if any, health clubs, gyms, and similar entities, applications for professionals' licenses and renewals, as well as continuing education courses, and statements, depositions, and examinations under oath from 2014 through the present, Dr. Adelson is still gathering these documents and requests until September 22nd, 2021 to complete this production. Dr. Adelson's good faith objection should be sustained. Dr. Adelson should not be ordered to gather and produce irrelevant information about his mental health, emotional health, and pre-2015 physical health. This is a physical disability case. Dr. Adelson has already produced every document in his possession pertaining to his physical health from 2015 through to present. Berkshire nevertheless demands that Dr. Adelson gather and produce, among other things, inter alia, all documents which record or evidence any medical care sought or received from January 1st, 2012 through the present from virtually any source. Berkshire made no attempt to tailor its requests or demonstrate how Dr. Adelson's mental health, emotional health, or pre-2015 physical health are relevant to his physical disability. If Dr. Adelson possessed every potentially responsive document, he would simply produce them. Acknowledging that he does have every document, Dr. Adelson granted Berkshire's request for an authorization to obtain documents directly from his medical providers. Berkshire then issued subpoenas, approximately 25 healthcare providers and pharmacies, and Dr. Adelson did not object. Under the circumstances, it would be unduly burdensome and duplicative to require Dr. Adelson to contact all of these entities, who Berkshire already subpoenaed, and attempt to extract information that Berkshire already has and or is not relevant to the issues. Okay, so they're basically saying that he's being harassed and it's too much work, and they're probably already getting all that information anyway. Okay, so let's go down a little bit. They're saying it's an unreasonable volume of financial and employment information, including irrelevant information, that it's disproportionate to the needs of the case. Okay, so basically complaining and saying that this is just too much busy work. It's information that is somewhat irrelevant or just too burdensome for the poor guy to get together. And I do feel that, I mean, just based on what they're putting in here, it does seem like it's a lot of work. It's kind of like a big project to dig around and get all the information possible so that Berkshire can defend itself. But I think that's all information that is relevant, especially if he's the one who is the plaintiff. So when you're the plaintiff in a lawsuit, you should know that you're going to have to end up providing a ton of information, and you have the burden of proving your own case. So it says here in conclusion, Dr. Adelson tried to resolve this dispute in good faith. He has diligently gathered and produced as many responsive materials as possible, including core financial information held by his accountant, who was on vacation when Berkshire subpoenaed him. Berkshire, in contrast, will not compromise on any of its 58 requests and refuses to seek discovery via more efficient channels, i.e. via deposition. Well, later on, they did depose him in December. For the foregoing reasons, the court should sustain Dr. Adelson's objections, afford him until September 22nd, 2021 to produce the documents he agreed to provide, and deny Berkshire's motion to compel in all other respects. Okay, so down here in the footnote, they're saying that the CPA couldn't comply with the deadline, and they were able to get a 4-day extension for the CPA to produce the most important information. And okay, so anyway, sorry about that. I'm feeling kind of sweaty, and I don't know what it is. I think it's probably like 95 degrees outside. So I'm going to try to sit down here. I don't think the air conditioning works very well in this room, so sorry for the bad reading. I know a lot of people have gotten on my case saying that they hate my voice and they wish I would get somebody else to read this, but if anyone wants to volunteer to read, let me know, because I would gladly get somebody with a better voice to do it. So Okay, thank you guys for being here. Oh my gosh, I'm always surprised that so many people are actually wanting to tune in. So it's kind of embarrassing that my voice is gone. I'm sweating and feeling quite uncomfortable right here in this room. Okay, is it strategic that they're giving? Oh yeah, totally. They want Charlie and his attorneys to just do tons of work, get all the information together because he's the one that filed this lawsuit. So that's the way it is. I mean, I see this with a lot of my clients where they're all gung-ho and ready to file any sort of lawsuit. I mean, whether it's a divorce case or child custody case or business dispute or whatever. But then once they get through the litigation process and the discovery starts, then they start realizing this isn't fun. This is a total pain in the ass, gathering all your documents. You have to do a full disclosure maybe of your tax returns, all sorts of business documents, depending on what kind of case it is. So discovery is definitely kind of a pain to deal with. There are almost always going to be disputes and issues where people feel like, well, I shouldn't have to turn over that information or let them get it, or I'm not going to turn this over. So you wind up in court again. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. If they don't like something, they can turn to another channel. Yeah. Well, at least I try to show those. Sorry, I'm so sweaty and hot right now. Yeah, I try to show the documents on the screen if possible so that people can actually read it themselves if they want to, instead of having to listen to me. And you can always speed it up later on if you want to listen to it faster. Okay, can you read Donna's emails? Oh, okay. Well, did you see ML's mentor lawyer's recent video? I think he just put it out again, maybe about 3 days ago, where it was an old video where it looked like he just used his cell phone to show you the emails, and he was just moving his cell phone down while shooting at the printed out emails on some raggedy pieces of paper or something. But it was really, really interesting. I had no idea that Donna's emails were so long-winded and really showed the vitriol and the hatred that she had for Dan Markel. She would call him like an a-hole or a jackass and other vile terms, and just going on and on, haranguing Wendy about what she needed to do, because she can't let Jibbers get his way or whatever. So that's already out there on Deep Dive True Crime. So if there's some, say, like an older lady who might have a voice similar to Donna's, I don't know what she sounds like, but if you want to read that, then maybe I can coordinate something. Yeah, but oh gosh, yeah. Okay, well, I know today is bad because I'm so sweaty and feeling very uncomfortable in this room right now. So, okay. Yeah, I used to have a southern drawl. Who said that, Judy? How rude. I like it. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I know today's reading is not good because I'm not feeling very comfortable. So the haters can okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Nelly, for always being here and you guys being so supportive. It's 2+ a.m. Oh, I didn't know you're in Japan. My aircon is full blast. I'm really eager to know what's going on. Oh, you couldn't go to sleep because you're waiting for this live stream? Wow. Okay, well, it just shows how obsessed some people are with the case, myself included. So I'm really happy to find that other people are here very interested in justice for Dan Markel, finding as much dirt on Charlie Adelson and the other people. Yeah, thank you, Sophia. Yeah. Oh, okay. You can use your search engine and find Donna's emails. Okay, I didn't know that, but yeah, on Deep Dive True Crime, you can see a video he did and re-released recently. Yeah. The AC fan went out yesterday. The man just fixed it. Okay. Yeah, thank you. I'm actually from Georgia. I grew up in Albany and Stone Mountain mostly. Yeah, so I remember how hot it is. Okay. Yeah, you willing to help? Okay, well, great. Maybe we'll schedule some time and I could email you documents and somehow, get you to join the live stream so you can do some of the reading. Man, I don't know what's wrong. I think I need to get the air conditioning fixed here. Yeah. Let's see, any other questions? And then we will move on to the proposed jury verdict instructions or jury forms. Yeah, everyone subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Yeah, home state of North Carolina. I think today's high is about 95 degrees. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm not in Florida, but I used to go there a lot when I was a kid because my parents, well, we lived near the border between Georgia and Florida when I was a kid. So we would always drive down to Florida a lot. These places are very familiar to me. And we actually owned some, vacant lots. We owned a little motel somewhere near Orlando when I was a little kid. So anyway, it's kind of interesting to think about Florida and how there are just so many crazy crimes now, or I don't know if it's been going on for decades, but there seem to be the craziest crimes in Florida. So if I really wanted to do a true crime YouTube channel, just like Mentor Lawyer, I guess being in Florida is the best place to be. And also Florida, I guess they call it the sunshine laws, where the proceedings are really made public. They are often on TV, or they can be publicly aired. So there's a lot of information out there for people that are really into true crime cases. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was working, but I also have this like big box light here because otherwise my room would look even darker on the screen. So I think that kind of radiates more heat also. So okay, deep dive posted an X-rated phone call. Oh yeah, I heard that last night. Oh my gosh. Well, the way Katie talks, she sometimes like just kind of mumbles and slurs her words too. So you can't really understand every single word. So I didn't really hear a lot of X-rated stuff. But for you guys who missed it last night, I think he premiered it at around 10:30 p.m. So there's some phone call between Katie and some unidentified woman where they're talking about Katie could get paid $2,000 to take part in some sort of illicit activities. I'm assuming it was some sort of like sex party or some sort of prostitution type of gig. And yeah, I mean, it sounded like they were talking in kind of low voices and like, I don't know, just the whole tone of it seemed kind of like wacky and weird. And I'm like, I can't believe this is like a 30-something-year-old woman talking like this. Like, she just often sounds like she's a doofy teenager or whatever. But that was very interesting because I know there's been at least one commenter that was intimating that perhaps Katie had some other jobs, like being a sex worker or something. And I wasn't really sure about that, but that phone call that we were listening to last night, it seems to corroborate that. Yeah. Okay. So you're obsessed with this case too. Okay, great. Yeah, seems like Donna wrote a lot of emails. It would be interesting to see what her thought process. Oh yeah, well, I think she was just definitely out of control and very controlling. She had to control Wendy and she wanted those grandchildren. She acts like those grandchildren are her own children. And so that kind of matches up with what we hear on fancy fiction, where the kids are almost always with Donna. Isn't that weird? It seems like they might have had some sort of schedule where the grandparents took care of the kids half the time, and then half the time the kids were with Wendy. So that way Wendy could still go out and do all her fun things and date and have a boyfriend and, deal with her job obligations while her parents really pitched in and took care of her kids. So, yeah, very, very strange and telling when you actually read those really mean-spirited emails between Donna and Wendy. Yeah. Okay. You heard it. Oh, okay. So you heard that call between Katie and her female friend, saying Katie could get paid $2,000 to go do something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, menage a trois. Okay. Yeah. So it was late at night. I wasn't fully paying attention and I couldn't really hear everything. So I was going to go back later when I have time. Today is a work day, to maybe watch that video again and turn on the captions and hopefully be able to decipher more of what Katie and her friend were saying to each other. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. You like true crime cases? Okay. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Donna seems to basically be the primary care parent, and Wendy is like the non-custodial parent who gets visiting. I mean, it's definitely sounds like that when you're listening to all these phone calls between Donna and Charlie. There are so many times. I think there was even one phone call where I guess the kids were in the background and they were on swings. So you could keep hearing this like swinging, squeaky noise the whole entire time that Donna is talking with Charlie. So that's just really sad when Donna is talking to Charlie about the bump or something. Yeah, that Dan Markel's children are right there in the background on the swing having fun, not knowing that Grandma and Uncle Charlie are talking about this whole situation involving killing their father. Yeah. Doesn't she have 2 grandkids? Yes. Yeah, exactly. She has 2 grandchildren. It's a boy and a girl from the oldest son, Robert, who is the doctor up in, I think, Albany, New York. So, but the kids are, the kids look pretty brownish. I don't know. I mean, I'm just assuming that could be why Donna was totally in a tizzy and didn't want Robert to marry that Asian Indian doctor, because not only is she not Jewish, but she is also very dark skinned. So the kids are brown, and they don't really look white, or they don't look white. And so that probably made Donna really upset and disgusted. And so, as far as I have read, it doesn't sound like she had much of a relationship with them even before Dan Markel was murdered. So I think I read somewhere that she might have sent birthday gifts and cards and stuff, but in terms of actually spending time with those grandkids that Robert had or has with his wife, that was practically nothing. So although the Adelson parents did attend their wedding, yeah, after totally disapproving of their relationship at first. Yeah. Wondering if any of the detailed YouTube coverage of the Markel murder will interfere with the trials. Yeah, well, that's what I'm not sure, but that's up to the attorneys to figure out when they do jury selection, because I'm just thinking about some of our fellow YouTubers and people who comment a lot on the Dan Markel case. And a lot of times the people in Florida are saying that none of their friends or the people around them don't really seem to know much about the case. So I don't know if that's really true or not. What's the sample size? So again, it's up to the attorneys to really figure out, what jurors should be stricken, or, whether they really want jurors that have heard absolutely zero news about Dan Markel. So, but I guess, we're just covering it on I don't know, in YouTube land, and whoever is out there and wants to pay attention is more than welcome to. We have people from other countries even that are here. Yeah, like Sophia from the UK. Yeah, thank you for being here. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, Michael. Yeah, getting hot everywhere it is. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hey, Fancy Fiction. Thank you so much for being here. Tara Kawas said she's a saint. No, makes no. Yeah, exactly. Tara Kawas's credibility is definitely, in my opinion, suspect. Like she's a true believer, but sometimes it's not good to be an attorney who is a true believer in your client. That doesn't make you a good defense attorney if you can't be objective. So you shouldn't become friends with your attorney, with your clients, or think that, I gotta fight no matter what and believe everything my client tells me. So maybe if this is just my opinion again, maybe if Katie's attorneys had been a little bit more objective, maybe they would have persuaded her to take a deal, and then she could be out of jail after turning over whatever info she has on Charlie Adelson and the rest of the family, if she has that information. So let's see. Yeah. Oh, we've been missing Fancy. Well, she's here now. Yeah. You present Katie accurately, not Kawas. Yeah, totally. You guys have to see Fancy Fiction's videos and listen to all those phone calls, especially the ones involving Katie. Definitely show what a horrible, mean-spirited, immature, lying, foul-mouthed. She's just a manipulative person. Yes. So that's definitely the impression I got. At first, I did sort of feel sorry for poor Katie when she was talking with Sigfredo's mom and saying that Sigfredo had tried to strangle her and bashed her head against a wall, and Sigfredo's cheating on her with a prostitute and all that stuff. But then Fancy said, "Well, wait until you hear the next phone call." So I heard the next phone call where Katie basically admitted to her friend. It sounded like Yendra, the lady who testified at trial. She's telling her friend that she basically made it all up, and she actually, hit Sigfredo first, and that she got bruises from doing some sort of, was it Zumba class or whatever? Yeah. So definitely you see the sides of Katie's personality, and it doesn't look good. Yeah. It seems Donna tries to lower her voice so the kids don't hear, but they're around, they probably hear. Yeah, especially now that they're older. I mean, I have no idea what the dynamics are now in the family since Uncle Charlie has been arrested. What kind of lies are they going to tell the kids to try to keep the kids from doing their own research or listening to what their friends might say to them about what they've heard from their parents and from the news. Yeah. Oh, I need to go to supermarket. No, I think I need to probably wind up bringing like a pitcher of ice water and ice, or stop recording during the hot part of the day, be in a different room. Okay, Wendy said in that podcast in 2015 that her mom is like a co-parent. Yeah, isn't that sad? It's like, so she didn't want to co-parent with Dan Markel, so Dan Markel conveniently gets murdered so that Wendy and the two kids can then just run down to South Florida, which is what she wanted all along. And then mom can co-parent and mom can raise the children, right? Yeah, just so awful. Yeah. Robert Adelson's family is beautiful. I've seen a picture. He made the right choice. Yeah, I mean, he definitely looks happy. I mean, I saw his public Facebook profile. Yeah, it looks like he's a great father. He loves his children and his wife just sounds like a really amazing, smart person. So, yeah. And both of them were also interviewed in that Wandry podcast, Over My Dead Body, which you can now see on YouTube. Let's see. Yeah, terrible. Shame on her. Yeah, Rob is a hero. Yeah. I'm really glad he's also part of that Justice for Dan Facebook group. Not seen a picture of them. I'm sure they're perfect. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the older brother and his doctor wife are raising the kids well. I mean, of course, they're strangers to me, but I'm just guessing. Yeah. Wendy dumps her kids with her mother while looking for another. Yeah, so I mean, it's probably, okay, just my opinion again, it's probably better that nobody else got ensnared. Did you guys see that video on Surviving the Survivor recently where there's a man that left a comment and he said that he knew Wendy back in their days at Brandeis University and that half the guys wanted to date her. And he even had asked Wendy out on a date, but she rejected him. So anyway, I think he's probably feeling pretty good about that now. Yeah, very interesting. Harvey may be the only Adelson not incarcerated when all is said and done. He will be raising those boys. Well, I don't know. Isn't he already 80? How old do you guys think he is? At least 80 years old now? Yeah. Yeah, Donna does not like colored people. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah. Exactly. I mean, I can't make any sweeping generalizations, but I'm sure that was part of the reason why she was so angry that the oldest son was dating this dark-skinned Asian Indian woman. I mean, never mind the fact that she's like a totally brilliant emergency room doctor. So, yeah, very sad. Yeah, wait until Rob speaks, he will. Okay, good. Yeah, I hope so. Or maybe if you can get him to be on your YouTube channel or something. It sounds like you sort of know him, but I have no connection to him, so I don't want to bother him. Yeah. Let's see. Do you know if the news reported a picture of the car shortly after the murder? Did none of them know law enforcement? That's what I'm not sure. Yeah. I mean, somebody that's actually down there in Tallahassee would probably know, like Mentor Lawyer or that talk show radio host from Tallahassee, that survivor interviewed a couple of weeks ago. His name is Preston Scott. So yeah, I mean, you'd think they would have reported about that, though, right after Dan got murdered, because, at that point they had no idea who these people were or who could have murdered Dan Markel. So I would just assume that the news media down there probably did show surveillance pictures of that vehicle that was seen following Dan around his gym parking lot. Kawas and DeCosta are the lawyers now for a killer rapper in Jacksonville. Well, that's what they do for a living. So, I don't want to totally get down on them because, I've worked with a lot of criminal defense attorneys, and I used to intern for different public defenders' offices when I was a law student. So, somebody's got to defend the criminally accused. That's like one of the basic rights of people here in the United States. So everybody is entitled to a zealous legal defense. So, they got to earn their money somehow, right? Yeah. But it does sort of cross over a line when outside of the courtroom, if, in my opinion, if the defense attorney is like making all sorts of statements and stuff that just doesn't seem to jive with the facts and makes the person seem like they're too personally involved with the convicted criminal. Yeah. Thank you, John. Okay. Well, I'll try to do better now that I'm sitting down and I'm kind of cooled down a little bit from fanning myself. So skank is the slang term. Yeah, totally. I know a lawyer who had Dan as one of his law school professors. He said he was the best teacher he ever had. He was very loved and respected. And yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I know of or sort of know some other law professors who also knew Dan. I've mentioned this before, but my ex-husband is also a law professor. So he knows a lot of people who were friends with Dan, and they were all just totally crushed and very saddened when they found out what happened. Yeah. Fancy, you're doing a wonderful job. Please keep the wiretaps coming. I hope we'll be getting some longer videos. Yeah. Oh, well, we'll take whatever you can give us. Yeah. Short ones, long ones, whatever. It's all just really, really good information that isn't easily accessible to us. So it will never get KSOO off. Okay. Oh, okay. The rapper. Okay. $800 electric bill. Okay. Love the phone calls. Katie is far from an angel. She is now an expert. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Like, you guys need to listen to it. The video that it just got put up last night by Deep Dive True Crime. And I'm definitely going to listen to it again. But they did mention something about Jerry. So between Katie and that female friend, they said something about Jerry being involved or whatever. So I'm thinking that must be Jerry Obed, who was a dermatologist that Katie worked for briefly and also was a roommate of Charlie Adelson's for some time. So I don't know. I mean, it could be another Jerry, but I'm just guessing. Yeah. So a very interesting phone call. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're actually in the Netherlands? Wow. Okay, well, that's great. I went there a long, long time ago in the 80s with my family, and it was a beautiful place. But this is really cool to find out that people from so many different places and different countries are interested in the Dan Markel case. Yeah. It's so infuriating to know that prior to Dan's murder, he fought in court to not want Donna to be alone with his kids. Yet here we are learning she's co-parenting his kids. Yeah, exactly. And there was also a phone call between Donna and Charlie where Donna was talking about one of the kids misbehaving and what should she do. And then Charlie just glibly says that she should spank him, just whack him, and that'll teach him not to be throwing food or doing something to antagonize his brother, or something to that effect. So that's kind of appalling too, that Charlie of all people is giving parenting advice. Yeah, because at that point he wasn't even a father yet. Yeah. I upped and moved here. Okay. Yeah. Asian women are great wives. Okay, well, that's a generalization. Look at Katie. Was Katie a good wife or wife? They weren't legally married, but was Katie a good wife to Sigfredo? I don't know. She talked him into committing a murder. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Wondery is a good podcast. Yes, definitely. It seems a little bit outdated now because it was made years ago before even more information came out, but it's still good to listen to. Although some people got kind of mad towards the end because the one of the producers seemed to give off the impression that he really enjoyed talking with Wendy and that he didn't think that Wendy had anything to do with Dan's murder. So that upset some of the commenters. Yeah. Donna also seems to relish in doing things that Dan wasn't happy about. In one audio, Donna tells Charlie that she fed them McDonald's. I felt she made it a point to let Uncle Charlie know that. Oh, okay. Yeah, it just seems how weird and perverted that is because, Dan, this is way after Dan was already murdered, right? So I don't know. It's like their whole reaction to Dan's murder does not sound like anyone who's innocent. So, which family member will show up? Well, that's a good question. Who do you guys think will show up to support him? I don't know. Yeah, because I'm sure Wendy has been told by her attorney just to not communicate with Charlie now because it just doesn't look good for her reputation in general anyway, in my opinion. So, and then the parents probably don't want the additional stress of having journalists bugging them and everybody looking at them and TV cameras showing them and stuff, because it sounded like Donna was really, really stressed out and having diarrhea in the middle of the night after the bump. So I doubt that anybody would really show up at the trial to support him. Yeah. Also, it sounds like he's lost a lot of his friends too. So yeah, Harvey better watch his back. Yeah. Okay. Wendy may be called to testify, so she may not sit in the courtroom, but will his parents show up? Yeah, that's why I don't think the parents would come, but who knows? Because the parents are both getting up there in age, and so, it sounds like the mom was so stressed out already. She's probably been taking a bunch of medications, or actually, I think June even said that the mother had to take medications to help herself sleep. And she was also talking to Charlie about that too. In some of the phone calls, he's giving her advice to take some pill with alcohol to help her sleep. So I doubt she could stand being there, going all the way up to Tallahassee to sit around the courtroom while everybody's giving her the evil eye. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Kenora. Thank you. Thanks for being there. Oh, yeah, definitely the bus cam pic. Someone else had a pic from a roof view. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then there was also a picture from the ATM that Luis and Sigfredo had gone to get some cash. So, yeah, there's all sorts of pictures out there. Yeah. What kind of deal will be needed to get? Yeah, I really don't think that he's going to make any sort of deal because for someone that is accused of being a mastermind behind Dan Markel's murder, why would they even offer him 20 years in prison if he would flip on his family members? That doesn't sound right to me. Granted, I don't practice criminal law and I'm not in Florida, but that's just my own personal opinion that, offering him a deal where he would stay less than 25 years in prison doesn't sound right. Yeah, so I have no idea, but I don't think he's going to flip on anyone. I think he's so arrogant and full of himself, and he has a very high-priced, experienced attorney. So, he might just roll the dice and think that there's a slight chance he could get off and be found not guilty. So, has your opinion of Wendy's guilt evolved? Do you think she was absolutely part of the planning or other? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, originally when I first heard about the case and, I didn't do a total deep dive into the case until within the last, say, half year, after I talked with Steve Epstein, who is the attorney who's writing a book about the case. So originally, years ago, when I heard about it, I just thought that, I didn't think Wendy was involved at all. But it wasn't until after I spoke with that other attorney who has really done a lot of digging into the case. And he was like, oh yeah, she's definitely involved. I started reading and watching more YouTube videos, reading more articles about the case and everything. And, after a while you do start finding out a lot more details and weird coincidences and weird things like the setting up of Jeffrey Lacasse, the timing of things, how timing was important to Katie, Sigfredo, and Luis. They somehow knew that they had to get the job done by Friday, because Dan was going to be going to New York to see his girlfriend on Saturday. So who would have known that? I mean, it's pretty inconceivable that somebody's former brother-in-law would know anything about his plans, or, you know, what his daily routine would be, or anything, or what time the kids would be at preschool. So anyway, but again, just to reiterate, just simply knowing that a crime is going to occur typically is not going to be a crime. Because normally people have no duty to warn people about impending danger or things that could potentially happen to them. It's only in limited circumstances, like if it's your spouse, or if you are a doctor or a therapist or something, and you hear your patient say, like, I'm going to go out and kill my mom tomorrow, you know, then you do have that duty, that legal obligation to report it. But in general, just knowing in general, like, oh, you know, he's been talking about hiring a hitman. Well, that in general, you know, does not trigger that duty to warn. So there would need to be an actual overt act that Wendy did to help participate in planning the murder, or you know, something more than just simply knowing that her brother is planning to kill Dan Markel. And you also need to have proof of that too. So that's why it's such a difficult case from what we as the public know about the case at this point. Although, you know, I truly believe there is more evidence out there that only the prosecutors and the investigators know at this point. Yeah, that's right, with the car color. I don't think it was immediately following the murder, though. They didn't give the... Oh, okay. Are you in Florida? Okay. Yeah, you seem to know a lot about the case also, so that's great. Everyone deserves a good defense. It's part of why we fled England. The king would just chop your head off. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, criminally accused have a lot more rights in the United States than in plenty of other countries. Yeah, okay. So Kawas is emotionally involved. Yeah, I mean, especially when people were saying that she was getting in an argument on Instagram with some people while the trial was going on. That doesn't seem right at all. You know, don't do that while your trial is going on. Yeah, or even after the trial is over. You know, why engage with people on Instagram about one of your clients? Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. I've read a little bit of it. And actually, you guys will be happy to hear that I did get a copy of one of Dan's books, which he co-wrote with two other law professors. So after I get through reading this, I would be glad to do another live stream show and pick out some quotes and everything, because it is kind of eerie. It's kind of foreshadowing, like what he wrote about family connections and the criminal justice system. So I'll definitely be talking more about some of Dan Markel's writings in the near future once I finish reading that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Preston Scott was the guest in that show along with John Singer. Yeah. Do you think we'll hear what David Marcus told Detective Isom over the phone right after Katie's arrest? I'm so curious why David Marcus thought it was a good idea. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, if it's relevant, that sounds like something that the detective could talk about. Yeah. Okay. I don't know anything about that. So if you want to provide more details, please let us know. Jailhouse call. Yeah. So True Lifestyles already tried to get that, and she was told that that's not available to the public. So I don't think we're going to be able to hear that unless it's played later on in trial. Yeah. Charlie must be fearful Katie will testify at his trial. She has nothing to lose. Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows what is keeping Katie from turning over on him? Yeah. I hope the wheels are in motion to arrest Donna. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it, since the state has pretty much stated that Donna and Wendy were also co-conspirators. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, June made it sound like it was just like maybe one date where they met up with Charlie and Charlie's girlfriend at the time. And then it turns out Jerry actually had a girlfriend at the time, and that girlfriend showed up that night. So it was like I guess maybe an uncomfortable situation when a girlfriend walked in on them, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, this is like a total soap opera of all sorts of people dating around and doing all sorts of shady stuff. Yeah. So um, yeah, it looks like they were planning to have an orgy party. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I mean, I did wonder, why did Charlie need to have a roommate anyway? It's very bizarre. If Charlie is such a playboy, having different women over all the time and stuff, then why would he want to have a roommate hanging around too? They didn't financially need to save money on rent, as far as I know. Yeah, very strange. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you for telling people to click like. Yeah. Um, yeah, as far as we know, no, Donna is not visiting Charlie in jail. Yeah, because first of all, the jail is pretty far away from where they live down in southern Florida. And True Lifestyles also did try to get information about visitors to the jail, and it sounded like there were no visitors to Charlie at all as of July. Yeah, but he is making some phone calls to his parents, though, as well as to that Filipino American therapist lady. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, grandma was telling the kids that daddy is stupid. Yeah. Yeah, Charlie was a sperm donor. Yeah, maybe that's what his baby mama would say. Yeah, but there have been some phone calls between Charlie and the baby mama since he's been in jail. Yeah. Why didn't they get married state? Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know, but it seemed like Katie and Sigfredo's relationship was really on again, off again, both of them cheating on each other and all this drama and fighting and stuff. Yeah. So, or maybe they just didn't have money to get married also in addition to all their relationship drama. Yeah. We'll have a big party, Judy, once Wendy and Donna arrested them. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know they called him Jerry. Yeah, and I'm assuming there's no other Jerry around Charlie, I don't know. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Fancy. Yeah. I'd be willing to offer Charlie immunity to testify against Wendy, Donna, and the father. Yeah, but he's not going to. I mean, he always saw himself as the one in the family that saved everybody and took care of things. So I really doubt that he's going to suddenly turn against his parents. And I mean, maybe Wendy, I don't know, but he's still making phone calls with his dad, especially. So yeah, so I don't think anyone's visiting Charlie in jail. Yeah. Unfortunately, those boys are Adelsons now. Yeah, that's right, because of Wendy changing their name about an hour. Oh, not an hour, a year after Dan died. Yeah. Okay. 2K for an hour. Listen to the call last night. Yeah. Okay. So I wonder how often Katie did those types of things. See, she could have said that, right? When she was in court, when she was being grilled, like, where'd all this cash come from? Like, why didn't she just say that it was because she was doing some sex work or, had friends with benefits that would give her treats, sugar daddy. Yeah. Charlie refers to Jerry as the one who taught him the scrubs trick to get out of a ticket. Those people are trash. Yeah. The irony of the Adelsons hating Tally, but now they'd have to go there to see Charlie. Yeah, if they're allowed to. Yeah, I don't even know if they allow visitors now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you guys so much. There's 169 people now. This is really overwhelming, actually. Yeah, so old Charlie isn't getting any phone calls while in jail. Oh, he is getting phone calls. Yeah, and he's been making outgoing calls or whatever the system is too. So it costs money. So this is costing thousands of dollars for him to constantly be calling so many people. Yeah. Uh, yeah, Wendy Adelson's guilt. Yeah, I mean, I feel like she was definitely involved to some extent, but whether she can be found legally guilty of a crime, that's a whole nother story. Yeah, and so I explained that probably about 5 minutes ago. Yeah, that there needs to be actual proof that she did something in furtherance of the conspiracy or actually helped out in planning the murder. Yeah. So, yeah, Donna and Harvey could be yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel more likely it's Donna and Charlie that are the masterminds because Charlie seems to be the one that's always full of himself and coming up with ideas and, could care less about getting rid of people or screwing people over. Yeah. Yeah, now that we can see in hindsight, yeah, it was very poorly planned and poorly executed because they were found out. Because of the profile with this case, there's no way that cowardly Adelsons will stay clear like the cockroaches they are. Yeah. I mean, someone who seemed to be around the same area around Miami said that, like, most people hated the family, or maybe they had a history of all sorts of run-ins with people in the community. Wendy said whoever murdered Dan should receive the maximum sentence. I guess her dreams come true. Yeah. Wonder if anyone's even listening. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, who knows? He does like to talk all the time and act like he knows everything. Yeah. Wendy fell apart in the second trial. She's cracking. Yeah. I mean, the credibility wasn't there when she was testifying. Yeah. Charlie. No, I wouldn't say Charlie stole the girlfriend, because it from what June said, if that's true, it sounded like she had just started dating Jerry, or maybe only went out with him once or twice and then quickly found out he already had another girlfriend. So it wasn't until the next year, maybe. Yeah, at least a year. It was quite a while between the point when Charlie first met June and then later June's friend happened to go to one of Charlie's offices where he worked, and they found out that they knew June in common. So then Charlie offered to do the friend's dental work for free if she would give him June's phone number. So that's how June was contacted by Charlie, and then they started dating. So it was quite a while later after they first met because of Jerry. Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. This is not like his lavish Playboy lifestyle anymore. Yeah. Okay. I see. Doesn't Wendy have a duty of warning? Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I haven't looked up the Florida criminal law or code on this again, but I think that would be too far attenuated. Most likely there needs to be an actual, some sort of legal duty that is stated in the law that says you have to report this. Yeah. But otherwise, I think the fact that she was no longer married to Dan already cuts off that duty to warn. So, anyone who is an expert in Florida criminal law, please chime in too. So her bitching and moaning tipped off Donna and Charlie to act in my... Yeah. I mean, it sounded like she did complain a lot about Dan to anybody that would hear her, including Jeffrey Lacoste. Wonder if... Yeah, there are no Maine lobsters on the menu, I'm sure. Maybe there's some fake artificial lobster flavored crackers or something you can order. Yeah. The overt act is... Yeah, but again, it's like, do we have proof that it was Wendy that set him up? And I don't know. I mean, I think basically somebody like Charlie would have to spill the beans in order to get some evidence. Yeah. Let's see. I keep waxing and waning about Wendy's initial guilt. I just now know that she stands behind her parents' brother before her kids. Poor Dan has to have kids with a non-mother. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think, yeah, you should watch more of the videos on Deep Dive True Crime, especially the one that he made about 20 plus reasons why I think Wendy Adelson is involved. Yeah. Okay, he can get sardines. Okay. DeCoste seemed to have jumped ship by the time sentencing arrived. That interview he gave was pretty telling on how he felt. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see the interview, but Tara gave some reason, as to why DeCoste wasn't there at Katie's sentencing. She said he had just finished some federal sentencing in somebody else's case, and it was too expensive to get on a flight from Miami, something like that. Yeah. Worried about Charlie. Don't know how many steaks he has in his... Yeah, hopefully his parents have already taken out his food from the refrigerator so it's not rotting away there. Yeah. My son came in my room last night, announced he wants to go to law school next fall. Okay. Well, time to start saving up the money and make sure he goes to only top law schools. Yeah. And don't take out big loans, please. Yeah. Okay. Where'd you see the interview of DeCoste? Yeah, I'm not sure it was that. Yeah, I'm not even sure if Deep Dive True Crime got that. Yeah. Maybe he spoke to the media. Yeah, maybe in a newspaper article. Number one reason Wendy showed her guilt, she went to the crime scene. She wanted to make sure the hit happened. Yeah, wasn't her excuse that it was just nostalgia because of nostalgic reasons? Sometimes she would just go and drive by her old neighborhood for old time's sake. I mean, what a weird thing to do, especially when you had a lunch meeting with your friends that was just very close by west of where your home lived, or west of where your home was. Yeah. What happened to all the money Katie deposited in her bank? Well, I guess she spent it all, right? So, yeah, and spent some on her boob job and probably on the attorneys. Yeah, so she's indigent now to the point where she gets a public defender to help her with the appeal. If Katie had turned on Charlie in the first trial, would she be free to think? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I feel like they probably did offer her something back then, too, back in 2019. Yeah. The call from Detective Isom from David Marcus was mentioned by Isom in either last trial or this one. I don't remember. It's mentioned briefly, and DeCosta objected, and then they didn't elaborate on the call. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that's strange. Yeah, I wonder what was said. Yeah. Okay, Katie won't say anything because of jailhouse edict. Yeah. So happy for you, Charlie. Okay, Wendy was in on it. She would not allow her kids to be present. She set up her boyfriend. Yeah. Yep, she went to the crime scene. That bullet was for her family who jumped. What? Oh, okay. Well, the family didn't actually jump in her car, but they did come up. They probably came up on Saturday. Yeah, because the parents were there along with her at the memorial service on Sunday. Charlie wanted a roommate because he has a fraternity boy mentality. He doesn't like to be alone. Yeah, but it's still so weird. It's like, why? I don't know. It seemed like he liked to screw around and everything and have all these different women and stuff. So why would he want to have some other guy there? I mean, unless they were into orgies or something. I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing. So, Rochelle, I think Wendy being prosecuted probably hinges on Charlie being convicted. Yeah, I agree. Can she get her sentence reduced? Well, I mean, at this point, I don't know. I think there's probably no more dealing. I mean, there's always that slight smidgen of a % chance, but I don't think that's likely to happen anymore, especially since she already supposedly turned down a great deal before her trial happened. Yeah. Dan's new girlfriend was also brilliant. Wendy feared that. Yeah, that's right. She even told the police that Dan's new girlfriend, the law professor, was very beautiful, even though she's 50 years old, but she doesn't look like it. Yeah. I believe it was Mentor Lawyer who discussed the interview on one of his channels, been binge watching this case. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, there's just so much to digest and so much to read. You know, it's almost like a second job, right? Like delving into this case. Yeah, Charlie just needs someone to listen to him. Okay, there's a big chance. Yeah, it could be. I mean, he definitely sounded resentful of his sister in some of those phone calls that you can see on Fancy Fiction. Yeah. Charlie Sully. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to give those people life advice inside the jail. Yeah, cops will put a. Yeah, well, wouldn't that be great? Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Oh, sure, no problem. Yeah, I like hearing from other people. You know, that way I don't have to keep thinking of original ideas myself, right? So, Charlie will never in a million years turn. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, after all this was done for their benefit in the first place, besides to implicate them, he would have to admit his own guilt. He won't ever. Yeah, I think his ego will keep him from admitting any sort of guilt. Yeah. Okay. So okay, she wasn't allowed visitors, just her attorney. Okay, thank you for that info. Yeah. I can only imagine they were booking Charlie and had to strip him. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. Does that, I guess that happens to everybody when they're first admitted? Okay. Let's see. Okay, so you found it. Okay, Tallahassee Democrats interview of Magbanua's defense counsel. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for the information. Yeah. She's an evil one. Did you pick up on? Oh, okay. You're talking about that other person. Yeah. Can you imagine Charlie getting staples out of $100 bills for phone? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. More likely his parents or whoever has his power of attorney was probably already wiring money over to his account. Yeah. Yes, actually, I'm pretty sure she was because I saw pictures on her Facebook or Instagram where she was with the other cheerleaders wearing the cheerleading uniform. So that's another thing she can add to her resume is that she was a Miami Dolphins cheerleader in addition to Miss Boca Raton Petite 2020. Okay. Okay, you're on Team Charlie. Okay, want to tell us more? Yeah. Not guilty Team Charlie? Okay, well, feel free to tell us why you're a Team Charlie. Anyone facing life in jail, perhaps the death penalty will flip. Yeah, but he's not facing the death penalty because Kappelman already said in an interview on Surviving the Survivor about a month ago that they weren't planning on seeking the death penalty because they couldn't even get it regarding Sigfredo Garcia. Okay, yeah, so I don't know. I think it's pretty unlikely he would make any sort of deal. Yeah. One of the inmates told me she tried to mother everyone, especially the prison. Well, yeah, once you're stuck in jail, I guess you have to do what you can to make your own life easier by hopefully trying to get on the staff's good side, right? Yeah. Is that the one that murdered her friend? Okay. Wow. Okay. So it sounds like Skeeter has been going to the jail to try to minister to people. Okay. I can't believe how much Katie lied on the stand. I think 95% of what she said was a lie. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, her credibility is totally shot. Yeah. She didn't flip. Well, we have her note. Yeah, we don't know. Could be just maybe the threat of physical violence towards herself and her family, or money still flowing to her family. Who knows? Yeah, or just her screwed up psyche. Like psychologically, she's already dug herself into a lie and will never want to admit that she had anything to do with it. Yeah, this is what I mentioned also. Yeah, probably more evidence that we don't know of. Can the feds pick up the case? Yeah, that's what I'm not really sure. I mean, but certainly people have mentioned that Charlie has likely committed insurance fraud or tax fraud. So those would be things that the federal agents would be investigating. So yeah, I don't think she had any sort of duty to come forward and say anything, regarding the proposed murder of Dan Markel. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Richard. Thanks for being so supportive all the time. Yep, exactly. Yep, she was a Dolphins cheerleader. Yes. She received very bad legal advice. The lawyer sold her the bill of goods that she could get off. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, plus her own arrogance also. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, what? On hookers? Okay. They offered her a deal. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. It was mentioned in Charlie's motion for a pretrial release. Yeah, mom and dad to the rescue. Wendy's excuse for going by the house was because it was her way of coming to terms with the divorce. Comical. Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense. Yeah. I mean, she was the one that left Dan Markel and wanted the divorce. They had already been in counseling for some time. I checked Charlie's history. He's a clingy type of man. Okay. People who get life in prison aren't worried about putting a hit on their fellow inmate. Charlie should be worried about Sigfredo's reach on the inside. Yeah, you just don't know. Yeah. They'll arrest Donna. Okay. Well, it's already over an hour, so I think I'll stop responding to the comments and go ahead and quickly share the proposed joint jury verdict form. This again has to do with the civil lawsuit filed by Charlie back in 2020 against his disability insurance carrier, Berkshire Life Insurance. So let's go down here. I'm running low on water again. Okay, so this is nice that the attorneys from both sides got together to do this proposed verdict form. And they do mention something about how the motion for summary judgment is still outstanding. So I was worrying or wondering about that because there had been a motion for summary judgment filed by the defense, which is where they're asking the judge to just go ahead and get rid of the case because there's not enough evidence for the plaintiff to even win his case. So, but then they went ahead and did this jury verdict form. It's pretty short, nothing terribly groundbreaking. It says, we, the jury, return the following verdict. Okay, footnote. Berkshire submits this proposed joint verdict form in accordance with the court's order striking its notice of filing proposed jury instructions and order granting extension of time to file joint proposed verdict form. Berkshire, however, maintains that its originally filed proposed verdict form more appropriately reflects the current state of the pleadings and pending motions, given that multiple issues remain pending for determination that Berkshire maintains should be resolved as a matter of law. Berkshire further maintains its position that certain issues are not subject to jury determination or are otherwise not appropriate for the jury under the law as set forth in its summary judgment and motion in limine briefing. But to the extent those issues are not addressed by a dispositive ruling in Berkshire's favor on the pending motions, Berkshire preserves its position that further additions may be needed to this proposed verdict form, including submission of Berkshire's initial proposed verdict form, question numbers 1, 2, and 3. Adelson likewise submits this proposed joint verdict form in cooperation with Berkshire and in compliance with this court's instructions. Adelson maintains that his previously filed verdict form may be better formulated to capture the jury's verdict on the issues to be tried, and that further amendment or modification of the verdict form may be appropriate following resolution of pending motions. Adelson anticipates continued cooperation with Berkshire to prepare joint filings if warranted. Number 1, do you find that Dr. Adelson was residually disabled under the policies for all or any part of the period between October 2016 through, plaintiff says December 2020, defendant says June 2017 or December 2020? Okay, so then the jurors are supposed to check yes or no. If you answered no, you should stop here and sign the verdict form. If you answered yes, you should proceed to question 2 below. 2, the policy's medical care requirement states, we will not pay benefits under this policy for any period of disability during which you are not under the care of a physician. Such care must be appropriate according to generally accepted medical standards for the condition which is causing the disability and must be provided by a physician whose specialty is appropriate for your sickness or injury. For any periods of residual disability found in response to question 1, do you find that, okay, so the plaintiff wants to say Berkshire proved by a preponderance of the evidence that Dr. Adelson was not receiving appropriate medical care for his disabling condition. The defendant wants to say Dr. Adelson proved by a preponderance of the evidence that Dr. Adelson was under appropriate medical care under the policies. Yes or no? If you answered no, you should stop here and sign the verdict form. If you answered yes, please indicate below the start and end dates of residual disability during which Dr. Adelson was under appropriate medical care, and then proceed to question 3. Okay, start date of residual disability with appropriate care, end date of residual disability with appropriate care. Okay, because this is a big dispute here between the parties, so they want the jurors to figure it out. Okay, number 3, plaintiff proposes, for any period of residual disability, do you find that Dr. Adelson sustained less than a 75% loss of income due to his disability? If your answer is yes, please identify below the percentage of lost income for any period of residual disability where Dr. Adelson suffered less than a 75% loss. If your answer is no, please stop here and sign the verdict form. Okay, so the defendant is proposing, for any period of residual disability found in response to question 2, please state the percentage of loss of income Dr. Adelson demonstrated for each monthly period of residual disability. Okay, so they want the jurors to figure out the periods of months and or years of residual disability with appropriate care and the percentage loss of income, separate periods needed as to any periods for which percentage changes. Okay, so that's a lot of work for the poor jurors who get chosen for this case, assuming it goes to trial eventually. So they're still waiting for the judge to make a decision on the motion for summary judgment. So, okay, so that was sort of interesting. And let me get back to the comment section. Thank you guys for still being here in the middle of the day Okay, Katie's stock has gone way down since she lied on the stand twice. Yep, she has nothing that state really needs now unless it's evidence against Wendy or Donna. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they have plenty of evidence against Charlie, so they don't really need her. They should ask him for bail money for jail counseling. Yeah. Okay, locked in from Houston, Texas. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Let's see, great point. Harvey should take the blame. He doesn't have, yeah, but I doubt he would just take the blame. Yeah, I mean, it seems like maybe he probably knew about the situation, but how much did he do overtly towards planning the murder? That's another thing. Although, I have noted that there were some phone calls to his cell phone number before Dan Markel was murdered from Sigfredo as well as Katie's cell phones. But then, of course, people have said, well, maybe Donna was using Harvey's cell phone. So we don't know 100% sure, but he definitely knew after the bump. So let's see. Hope they found some good evidence. Yeah, I'm sure they did. Yeah, hopefully. Is it true that Dan's parents were invited to Ben's bar mitzvah and next? Yeah, that's true. I mean, from everything that I've heard, out of the blue, Wendy contacted the grandparents in Canada, Dan's parents, and invited them down to spend just less than a day with the grandchildren, and then also invited them to the bar mitzvah. But then the invitation was rescinded when Charlie got arrested. So. Will Bree inherit? Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, usually the term inherit means that somebody dies. Yeah, so even if Charlie died, I doubt Bree would inherit anything. I mean, the two of them were never married. It sounds like she got pregnant pretty quickly after they started dating. So, yeah, I mean, just from what I know that's public, she ended up having to sue him for paternity and child support. So I doubt Charlie will be writing a will, leaving stuff to baby mama, even if he were to die. Yeah. And if he gets convicted, he can still keep his money and still keep his property. But it also depends, because sometimes even in criminal cases, people still have to pay a fine. So yeah, because when Katie was sentenced, didn't they say that she had to pay a little over $2,000 as a fine or court fees or something to that effect? Yeah. So he can, otherwise in general, he can still keep his stuff. It'll probably have to be taken care of by his parents. Yeah. Let's see, the grandkids have to know the truth at this point, or at least try to process what their mother did. Yeah, although, maybe they don't think she had anything to do with it, that it was these other evil people that conspired to do it. Yeah, I'm not sure what those kids know. Wendy uninvited the Markels to the bar mitzvah. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that person at all. Yeah. Hello, E46. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Although, from everything I've read, Dan Markel was not for the death penalty himself. Yeah, but ultimately, Kappelman just said in that interview a couple of months ago that they weren't going to seek the death penalty against Charlie. And it sounded like it was because they couldn't even get it against Sigfredo, who was the actual shooter. Yeah. Okay. Charlie said he would tell the cops he wouldn't turn over his phone if they ever caught him. He didn't want to see all his toothpicks. Yeah, well, that's too bad, because I'm sure they seized his phone already. Yeah. Charlie and his friends were, yep, yeah, I found that out thanks to Fancy Fiction. Yeah. Dolce Vita videos saying Charlie's ship if his lawyer does not counsel. Yeah, but then again, remember his previous lawyer was saying that, no, that Dolce Vita actually shows that Charlie is innocent because he's saying he doesn't know who did it. He doesn't know he had nothing to do with it, right? But that's just the way Charlie talks. He's always like just making these statements that are kind of meant to try to convince people or convince himself about things, even when they're not true. So kind of a strange way of talking. Yeah. Wendy came to terms with the divorce once the murder happened, in my opinion. Yeah. I believe June will. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did make the team because I saw photographs of her in the uniform with other cheerleaders on her social media. Yeah. Citizens arrest. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen or be fruitful. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Maya. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Sophia, for all your support. And Skeeter Girl. Charlie is paying a hefty price. Yeah, totally. Well, it wasn't just pleasing his mom, but for his ego too, because he seemed to kind of get off on always preaching to other people and talking down to people and telling them what they should do with their lives. Yeah. It was fun. I love this place. Hit the like. Oh, okay. Thank you, Charlie. Thanks for always being there. And Rochelle also. Heard a video about Charlie bitching about Wendy the Queen, like she wasn't grateful enough to him. Yeah, I heard that too. Also, yeah, just saying that she didn't have to work hard for her money, and look at him, he had to take out loans to go to school. See, my prayer is all of these court trials will be over soon so the Markels can focus on Daniel's memory in a good light without reliving the tragedy. Yeah, that would be nice too. Yeah, so I will be interviewing Dan Markel's mother next week. So looking forward to it, but it's not going to be a live stream. So I'll interview her and then put it up as a video later on. And if anyone has some proposed questions for her, you can put that in either as a comment to this video or on my community tab. I put a post out there asking for any questions. Yeah, but there's definitely a lot of stuff that she wouldn't be able to talk about if it has to do with the ongoing criminal investigation and things that might be a little bit too personal that she doesn't want to talk about. Yeah. Let's see. I just saw Yasser Saeed's trial. He was on the run, took 14. Yeah, I mean, there are just so many criminal cases out there where it took a really, really long time before finally the murderers are finally brought to justice. So, we just don't know how long it's going to take, but at least as Dan's father or parents said, the wheels of justice are slowly turning. Yeah. Yeah, I doubt it because she would definitely invoke her Fifth Amendment privilege not to testify against herself. So, I mean, unless they're going to give her some sort of limited immunity, yeah, she probably wouldn't be called to testify. Yeah, can the Markels win a civil suit? Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, the standard of proof is definitely lower in the civil cases, but there are all sorts of other considerations. I mean, first of all, they might be, I'm just guessing, maybe waiting to see how things turn out from the criminal standpoint. Because when you sue somebody civilly, you're just ultimately trying to get a monetary judgment. So, as we heard from the CPA, it looks like the Adelsons already put their assets into trusts, so they might not even be able to be subject to a judgment if there is a judgment in a civil lawsuit. Not to mention the mental stress and the expense and the hassle, of carrying on a civil case when you don't even live anywhere near where you would file the lawsuit. So maybe they could win a civil suit, but I just don't even know if that's going to happen. Yeah. Let's see. Hopefully Donna will be in jail during Charlie. Yeah, we just don't know. Yeah, I think it would give a lot of people satisfaction if she is arrested. Yeah. Yeah, after trial. Yeah, it was after Charlie got arrested that the invite was rescinded. Yeah. Sure. Thank you, Five Car. You always have good things to say also. So let me know if you want to be a guest on a live stream show so you guys can do the talking. Actually, one of the frequent commenters, Tony, is going to be a guest on a live stream show probably on Saturday because she has lots and lots to say about this case. And she's also done a lot of research on other interesting criminal cases. So I asked her if she wanted to be a guest and she was willing to. So maybe you'll tune in on Saturday and hear what Tony has to say. Dan's boys must hate their mother and grandparents. They must. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, you always hear cases like in that, was it the Denise Williams case where the daughter still sticks by the mother, even though it turned out that the mother did have a hand in colluding to murder Mike Williams, because the mother was having an affair with Mike's best friend, Brian. So, and there's plenty of other cases too, like the Michael Peterson case, where for the longest time, most of his sort of adopted daughters also stuck by his side and thought that he was innocent too. So you just never know how kids react. Yeah. Are the Markels more focused on the criminal trials before? Seems like the depositions would help. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm not sure about. I mean, I don't think that's something she would want to talk about during the interview. So, yeah, because like I said, when you file a civil suit against somebody, usually it's about what you get is money, and is there money to be obtained? I don't know, what the laws are regarding, whether somebody transferred all their assets into a trust, and, a lot of assets may not even be able to be seized, although there could also be insurance at play that could potentially pay a settlement. I'm not really sure if they're interested in filing a civil suit or not. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, thank you for tuning in, Diana. Yeah, surely an Oh, okay. Yeah, well, definitely they are often denying claims, and that's what keeps the lawyers in business, right? Everybody fighting over whether insurance should cover something. Yeah, crime family. Yeah, who is Judy? Oh, okay. Well, I'm an attorney, and I have a legal focused channel that I started a couple of years ago, and I'm actually a practicing attorney with my own solo law practice in North Carolina, so I do have to get back to work soon. So, but the Markel case is definitely something that I've been interested in a number of years, and it seems like a lot of people really want to watch that type of content, so I'm more than happy. Charlie has a crush. Which lawyer? Okay, so the main lawyer looks to be that guy, Daniel Rashbaum. Is that how you pronounce his name? And then I forgot the woman's name, but yeah. Yeah, I doubt Charlie has a crush on his lawyers. That's funny, though. She's got the grandkids. Mom doesn't need the son no more. Yeah, it's all about getting those kids so she can control them and control everything. Does anyone think yeah, I think it's pretty low, but maybe he would turn on Wendy, but I still really doubt it. I think it's very unlikely. Yeah. Case just keeps going and going. Yeah, I'm sure she did. She certainly has the financial ability to get new TVs. Yeah. Yeah, TV. I think there's enough evidence to charge Donna. I wonder why they haven't arrested. Yeah, they're probably just waiting to see how Charlie reacts first. Yeah, and who knows, maybe they're still spying on Donna to see all her like weird, crazy reactions. Yeah, I wonder if Wendy will. Oh, that would be too funny. Yeah, very strange if she wore the same thing again. Yeah. Wendy's checking out countries that have no extradition laws for her extended vacation. Oh, okay. Yeah, somehow I don't think so. I mean, she seemed very confident at Katie's trial saying that she's not going to be arrested. So why would she leave? So, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're talking about the Williams case. Yeah, that's just very sad that the granddaughter still sticks by her mom. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, great. Thank you, Turquoise. Who was the cheerleader? Oh, that was June. June Chinda. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She was the woman that had dated Charlie for a while and supposedly lived with him, or almost was at his home almost every day when they had a relationship for roughly about a year. Before then they broke up, and then they got back together again. And, it's just kind of crazy. But apparently she was a former Miami Dolphins cheerleader. So now she works in the real estate business. Yeah. Hi, Tony. Yeah, I was just telling people that you're going to be the guest on Saturday, so please let me know what time is good. Yeah. Charlie's baby mama, white girl. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But did you hear that call on Fancy Fiction where he was asking this other unnamed woman, if she were on birth control? It sounded like he was looking for someone to just have a baby with. And then he also joked that if he had a kid with June, then the kid would need to wear Velcro shoes, implying that June was so stupid that the kid would turn out dumb. So very mean-spirited, because he had just only been dating June for maybe about 5 or 6 months at the time. Yeah, so he's already talking about other girls and hanging out with them and going go-karting and having that one woman sit in his lap and stuff. I mean, it's just really weird. Yeah, and very despicable. I wonder if Wendy did her grocery shopping in anticipation of boys returning to her on Friday. She was there. Yeah, yeah. Who knows? Yeah, but somebody said that there was a neighbor of Wendy's that had mentioned seeing all the moving trucks just moving out stuff from Wendy's house very soon after Dan was murdered, and Wendy never came back. But of course, I don't know how reliable that is, but that's what I heard from somebody else. Yeah. So it did kind of sound like she had already made plans, already been packing up stuff and was ready to go, as soon as the memorial service was over. Yeah. Don't know how you keep kids away from social media these days. Hopefully the kids are already in. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, the family dynamics must be even more strange now. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what she said. Doesn't watch TV or listen to radio or read newspapers. Her lawyer advised her not to remember. Yeah. Well, we'll see if that's true. Yeah, the boys loved their father. Can you imagine anyone hiring a hit on Dan? That is pure evil. Yeah, exactly. Especially after you read how angry and full of hate those really long emails that Donna wrote are. Just looking over that recently, thanks to Deep Dive True Crimes video, it just shows you the extent of the hatred. And even Lacasse mentioned that. He said something like, the family is really weird. It's so weird that their whole hobby seems to be hating Danny. That the hate that they had for him was very unusual. So that's how you can imagine somebody hating someone so much that they would kill him off, even if he's the father of your relative's children. Yeah. I wonder what Charlie's defense will be. Why would two hitmen execute Dan Markel aside from what? Yeah, I mean, people have been guessing about this all over the place. And then even on True Lifestyle's YouTube channel, she posited that in one of her community posts. So, I mean, we're just thinking, well, what could he say? That Katie did that without his consent, to try to milk him for money, that they cooked it up themselves. And yeah, but I don't think that's credible at all. Yeah, given his behavior and his communications with Katie afterwards. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 5:00 Saturday is good. Yeah. I'll send you an email. Thank you. We look forward to hearing from Tony Lombardo, YouTube star, on Saturday as she dissects the Dan Markel case and other riveting true crime cases. Yeah, thank you. Then that can also save my voice too. Okay. Kid seems to be the one that suffered the most. Yes. Hope those boys change their name back to Markel someday. Yeah. I mean, could happen. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't think the boys will be willing to accept the truth. Yeah, you just never know. It's just so psychologically taxing on kids, especially if they have good memories of the people who raised them. Yeah. So it definitely happens where the kids just keep believing the parent that raised them and thinking that, that they had nothing to do with the murder of the other parent. Yeah. Everybody in South. Yeah, it does seem like everybody wants to be a realtor. Yeah, they think that's like a fast way to make lots of money. Yeah. Everyone in Sarasota has a realtor's license as well. Okay. One of those boys must reason. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like people have said one of the children looks just like Dan and acts like him. I think it might have even been Dan Markel's sister, Shelly, did she say that when she was giving her victim's impact statement, or somebody mentioned that there is a child that looks very much like him and acts like him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Janet. Okay. My voice is gone as usual. So probably time to get back to work to my clients and everything. Okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Wonder who are Judy's Oh, well, I don't know. There seemed to be a few guys that were very rude about things and saying like their 3-year-old grandchild could read something better than I could, or or whatever, or they can't stand hearing my strained voice or whatever. But yeah, trust your gut in relationships. Yes. Donna Sunshine's growing up, maybe. Yeah, the oldest must have just turned 13. Yeah. So, okay, great. Yeah, thank you guys for being here, and be sure to tune in. I'm also planning on doing a live stream show with Mentor Lawyer on Friday. So we're trying to coordinate where we would be reading the deposition of Dr. Jerry Obed. We were just talking about him early on in this live stream. So it's pretty cool to work with other YouTubers and people who really care about the Dan Markel case. Yeah, I am going to go downstairs and get some, but I need iced tea because I'm still sweating in this hot room. So yeah, sorry about the bad reading earlier, but I do really need to make sure that air conditioning works in this room. So, okay. Yeah. Thank you guys all for being here and everything. And good luck with your husband's physical therapy, Skeeter girl. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Okay, great. Well, hope to see you guys on Friday when we do our live stream later in the afternoon or evening with Deep Dive True Crime, reading the deposition of Dr. Jerry Obed, who was Charlie Adelson's former roommate. And then on Saturday afternoon, we will have Tony Lombardo as our special guest to further dissect this case. Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate everybody caring, and justice for Dan Markel. And the interview with Ruth Markel will come out probably towards the end of next week then. Okay. Have a great day. Thank you all.